the best of money matters. Under the radar.
You're listening to Money FM 89.3, and it's now time for Under the Radar with me, Chua Tian Tian. Now, from making 186 deliveries on day one to about 17 million today, that is a reflection of the growth of logistics giant FedEx through the years since it was founded half a century ago in 1971. Now, at that point in time, FedEx was known as the Federal Express Corporation, with the word federal suggesting an interest in nationwide economic activity in the U.S. Now, fun fact, it was also meant to resonate with the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank, which is a potential customer for the logistics player. Now, you might have recalled us talking to FedEx over a year ago on the show, and today we're going to get an update as to how things are going for them right now. Now, financially, the firm had in December 2024 reported second quarter earnings per share of $4.05 in line with expectations. Revenue, though, came in at $22 billion for the quarter, slightly lower than the $22.17 billion expected. Now, the firm's CEO said the results came despite several headwinds, including continued weak U.S. domestic demand and expiration of its U.S. Postal Service contract. Now, he said the showing demonstrates that the firm's efforts to transform its operations have been working. But really, what were the key drivers of growth bolstering the numbers, and how far did Asia Pacific contribute to the firm's top line? And speaking of Asia Pacific, the firm also said that it'll consolidate some Asia Pacific, Middle East and Africa functions in Singapore to connect all of its operations in the region with greater speed and agility. But really, what should we know about the move? Well, for more, I've got with me in the studio Kawal Preet, President of Asia Pacific at FedEx. Kawal, welcome.
Thank you, Tian Tian. Happy to be here.
Great to have you on board with us. And Kawal, we've briefly talked about FedEx as this logistics giant, formerly known as the Federal Express Corporation. Now, at the moment in time, the firm delivers 17 million packages on a daily basis and has a worldwide portfolio of shipping, transportation, e-commerce, digital supply chain services. So let's hear from you. How would you describe FedEx's value proposition and business model today?
Great. So think about from parcels to freight. FedEx is a one-stop shop for reliable global delivery and smart digital solutions that help our customers to drive growth in their businesses and also streamline their supply chains. And we pioneered the express transportation industry more than 50 years ago, and we remain an industry leader. And to give you some fun facts, on a daily basis, we move 17 million packages a day. Annually, $2.2 trillion worth of goods moves through our network that spans 220 countries and territories, connecting 99% of global GDP. And we're moving goods for more than 3 million shippers, delivering to 255 recipients. Customers choose us for our superior value proposition, our service, our speed, and our coverage. So that's us in terms of our value proposition. And 2 years ago, we embarked on the most significant transformation in the history of our company, where what we have accomplished is absolutely remarkable. And what we are building is the world's most efficient, flexible, and intelligent network in the world. And what does that mean? Let me bring it home. So we add value to businesses through these three interconnected themes: efficiency, flexibility, and intelligence. So efficiency is all about simplifying and streamlining the networks through which we serve our customers. And it starts off with the use of data, technology, our tools using AI to be able to become extremely efficient in how we design, plan, and execute our networks. Examples like route planning for our last mile delivery, stop sequencing, how we resource plan for our operations on a daily basis, how we do customs clearance for cross-border packages. These are the tools that we internally use to plan and execute on efficiency. And at the same time, we provide tools to our customers that make them more efficient. So that's the efficiency element. The second element is flexibility. flexibility with agile supply chains. So a robust portfolio is what we offer to our customers that is rooted in deep understanding of the evolving needs of our customers. So for e-commerce, we've got solutions like FedEx International Connect Plus. We've got next-day delivery. We've got time-definite delivery or deferred options for more cost-effective economic movement of goods. So that's the flexibility we provide to our customers, including being able to move giant pandas, not just parcels and freight. And lastly, intelligence. Intelligence to empower customers with advanced data-driven insights so that they can make better decisions and drive speed of actions. So by leveraging real-time data through platforms like FedEx Surround and using sensors and Internet of Things, tools like SenseAware ID that helps with precision logistics and provides enhanced visibility. We provide API integration with platforms for our customers, be it large or small. And then we've got cloud-based tools like FedEx Sustainability Insights that truly provides the emissions associated with the customer's shipment or an account so that the customers can make smarter decisions.
Nice.
So you see, by focusing on efficiency, flexibility, and intelligence, we are truly transforming logistics into a competitive advantage that supports our customers to thrive and win not only today, but in the future.
So the value proposition there, efficiency, flexibility, and intelligence. Well, if you could take a look at your APAC operations, the firm set up its regional headquarters in Singapore with sub-regional headquarters in Shanghai, Tokyo, and Sydney. So which are the most lucrative routes then that you service out of Asia? Who are your customers then? Is it mostly intra-Asia, or is it between Asia and Europe, or Asia and the US?
That's a great question. So our regional headquarters in Singapore positions us to manage the fastest growing markets in the region with greater agility, speed, especially here in Southeast Asia, and drive stronger growth across the region. And as you know, Asia is home to more than 4 billion people, and the economies in our region are projected to grow much faster than the developed economies of the West. For example, by 2050, Indonesia is forecasted to be the 5th largest economy in the world. Vietnam is also fast growing and forecasted to make the significant gains to be in top 20. When it comes to critical growth lanes, we are positioned to support our customers in capturing growth across 3 main corridors. Number 1, intra-regional or intra-Asia. Intra-Asia trade is one of the world's fastest growing growth corridor and is expected to double by 2030. And if you look at the IATA data, intra-Asia air cargo volumes have been surging for 13 consecutive months and have grown 12% year over year. And much of that growth is fueled by markets like Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, and notably half of world's 10 fastest growing trade lanes are right here in Asia. And we are supporting customers tap into this growth through our enhancements in our network and our value proposition. So recently we improved our service, our transit time into Indonesia, into Johor Bahru. We also improved our value proposition in and out of Beijing in North China, which gives you a flavor for how we are growing and serving our customers in intra-Asia. The second most important corridor is Asia to Europe. Asia-Europe corridor, again, is growing double-digit, is one of the world's busiest routes. And again, if you look at IATA growth rates, it just gives you a flavor. It's driven by a strong demand in high-tech goods, machinery, and electronics. And while China leads these export growth efforts, Asian economies are also contributing significantly to this vibrant trade lane. And again, to support this growth, we have actually added capacity to Europe recently with our expansion of the flight network. And we've also improved service from Vietnam to Europe through, again, changes that we made to our network connecting out of Vietnam. And last but not the least, Asia to North America. Consumer demand remains robust on the Trans-Pacific corridor. We have launched our tricolor network transformation on the Trans-Pacific lane, which allows us to grow into priority freight and deferred freight much more significantly, allowing us to leverage the vast ground networks that we have in the U.S. And we've connected Qingdao and Xiamen, the second-tier cities, to our Trans-Pacific network recently, and also added additional capacity out of Korea to the U.S. because we're seeing growth coming out of that market.
Wow, okay. Now, you talked about growth, and don't mind us being the money-loving ones here at Money FM, Kawal. Financially, FedEx had in December 2024 reported second quarter earnings per share of $4.05. That's in line with expectations. Revenue, though, slightly under expectations at $22 billion. Now, the firm's CEO said the results came despite several headwinds, and that includes continued weak U.S. domestic demand, expiration of its U.S. Postal Service contract. So could you enlighten us, Kawal, the major headwinds and the key drivers of growth influencing the numbers this time around?
Sure. So we achieved strong results in quarter two with our profit up 13% year over year, while revenue was essentially flat. And the headwinds were essentially the U.S. Postal contract expiry and the timing shift of the Cyber Week compared to the previous year. We did observe that the industrial economy in the U.S. domestic came in a bit weaker than our expectations, especially in the B2B segment. However, we are positioned extremely well for growth once the industrial economy recovers. What we are incredibly pleased about is our Drive transformation program delivered $540 million of savings on a year-over-year basis in quarter two. And we are on track to deliver more than $2 billion of incremental savings for this fiscal year 25. And the key drivers of growth, Tian Tian, in our international region are e-commerce, air freight, healthcare, and emerging markets like here in Southeast Asia, for example, Vietnam. So by reimagining our global air network, we've positioned ourselves for sustainable, profitable growth while boosting efficiency and asset utilization across the entire FedEx network.
You talked about emerging markets being one of the key growth drivers. So if we look at Asia Pacific as a region, Kawal, how far did Asia Pacific contribute to the numbers we see at a global level? How would you assess APAC's performance? What are the bright spots here right now?
Absolutely. So Asia Pacific is the manufacturing powerhouse for the globe. And FedEx Asia Pacific business is the largest international business outside of United States. And when I look at our business, really the bright spots are e-commerce. What we're seeing with e-commerce growth is profound in terms of the business and the industry shifts. E-commerce growth is expected to achieve $7 trillion by 2030. And here, we are focused on providing the most cost-efficient last-mile solutions to cater to e-commerce growth from large platforms to small and medium customers who've just gone online. Then, air freight segment is a significant opportunity and provides a great runway for growth for us at FedEx. Here, especially when we zoom into verticals like healthcare or automotives or semiconductors, especially with growth in AI, chips meant to grow by tenfold by 2030. Lastly, digital transformation. Every industry is transforming right now with the use of technology. So what we have going is with 17 million packages moving through our system every day, we are leveraging the power of that immense data, using the power of AI to develop solutions that not only make us more efficient, but also make our customer supply chains smarter. And that's our vision, to make supply chains smarter for everyone. And one fun fact, our Asia Pacific team that works on AI-based operational solutions is actually based here in Singapore.
Ah, okay. Now, speaking of Asia Pacific, there's this one thing that we must look at, Kawal, which is the fact that FedEx said in 2024 that it will consolidate some Asia Pacific and I believe Middle East and Africa functions as well in Singapore to connect all of its operations in the region with greater speed and agility. And what that also means is that the firm will move its APAC headquarters from Hong Kong to Singapore. So what were the reasons behind the move, and how much benefits are you intending to reap from that as well?
Sure. So we inaugurated our headquarter back in February 2024. And the move is really all about being right here in the heart of where we see the trade winds and growth shaping up. Southeast Asia, as I said, is a bright spot, and being here in Singapore allows us to actually shape that growth with agility and speed.
Okay. If I can try my luck over here, right? This question off the top of my head. How far will setting up your headquarters in Singapore at the heart of Southeast Asia as well help you navigate some of those headwinds in the global economy?
So look, history has shown that supply chains evolve over time. And conventional supply chains have been turned on their heads in the recent years multiple times over, be it the pandemic, be it geopolitics, demands for sustainability, economic slowdowns, etc. The next thing that has taken place is the gigantic leap in technology that is now being baked into our customers' planning, modeling, and response time. So the three themes that are emerging in global trade are, number one, supply chains need to be agile and multidimensional, enabled by technology. So what do I mean by that? What it means is that supply chain resilience is fundamental for customers, and that needs to be baked into the plans, making sure that there is enough elasticity in the business to be able to respond and as well as recover from any changes in our external environment. The second thing is, which is truly tied to your question, is understanding the emerging trade flow patterns.
Yes.
China remains the factory of the world, okay, with nearly 35% global production in China. And we talked about how we have expanded and connected the second-tier cities, Qingdao and Xiamen, to our global network to the U.S. But what we're also seeing is that China to Southeast Asia and China to India trade is growing rapidly, right? And then it comes to Southeast Asia, where we're seeing new growth corridors emerge. Places like Kuching, where we're seeing growth in manufacturing. We just connected Kuching to our flight network in Singapore to be able to take care of our customers' needs out of Kuching. Then you have Eastern Economic Corridor in Thailand, which is really seeing a growth in automotive sector. Plus, you've got Cebu in Philippines and Indonesia, which is showing manufacturing activity in textiles and garments. So this is the new trade patterns that we are able to get a front row seat view from and then immediately respond with actions. And the third thing I would say is that consumer trends and purchasing habits are creating new rhythms in how we ship. So that's really being enabled by technology, and e-commerce is a big driver here. So in short, being in the right location, armed with the right data, right technology, we as a company are adapting quickly and creating a more responsive supply chain solution network for our customers.
And I'm also supposing that with your AI team here, you're also tapping the talent pool right here in Singapore.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you're just tuning in, we're now in conversation with Kawal Preet, President at Asia Pacific at FedEx. Well, at the same time, Kawal, speaking of growth and future plans, FedEx had in December 2024 introduced a new flight route to further strengthen connectivity between China, India, and Europe. China remaining the world's factory, as you mentioned. Now, the route connected FedEx Asia's Pacific hub in Guangzhou to Bangalore in India, the UAE, and onward to Liege and Paris. The question, though, how far was that route opened due to increased demand and shipments between the geographical markets? What is the increase in operational efficiency we are looking at over here, particularly when it comes down to intra-Asia and Asia-Europe trade lanes?
Absolutely. So let me share some insights on how this new air route came to life and how is this positioning FedEx for continued growth and success in the Asia-Pacific region. So firstly, trade between Asia and Europe currently accounts for 21% of global air cargo traffic, and we're seeing incredible momentum here. And the growing demand and trade flows between China and India has also created a perfect environment for expanding our air cargo services. Now, we already have an existing flight that connects our Guangzhou hub to New Delhi in India. And this new route connects to Bangalore in the south, where we're seeing growing manufacturing activity. Our new route plays a vital role in strengthening connections between our key hub locations, Guangzhou in China, Bangalore in India, DWC in Dubai, and then off to Liège and Paris in Europe, which is basically linking major economic centers in Asia, Middle East and India, as well as Europe. And one of the standout benefits of this new flight is that it reduces transit times, or it improves the speed by up to 24 hours on certain lanes.
Okay.
And this is significant reduction as well as key to businesses like healthcare, electronics, and automotive that rely so much on speed and reliability. And our enhanced route is a true game changer for them. So by enhancing our network, improving our speed and reducing our transit times, we are truly empowering businesses to seize growth opportunities with unparalleled efficiency and speed, truly unlocking the full potential of supply chains.
I see. Now, Kawal, let's begin to wrap up the conversation by taking a look at some recent developments surrounding FedEx, particularly right here in Singapore. The firm bought 31 electric vehicles to replace retired diesel vans, and I understand Singapore is the first market in APAC to roll out the custom-built vans, and it has also recently trialled cross-border deliveries with EVs. So how will the firm's electrification move position it for the future? What's in it for FedEx to do so in terms of compliance or in terms of cost savings?
Sure. So at FedEx, we see sustainability through the lens of opportunity, growth, and profitability. Okay? And it's a very clear purpose for us to connect businesses and communities. We set a bold ambition for ourselves to be carbon neutral by 2040, which is 10 years ahead of the Paris Climate Agreement. So this is a strategic priority for us. The electrification of vehicles is a part of our roadmap to deliver on our sustainability ambition and goals. So the goal is by 2030, 100% of our new pickup and delivery vehicle purchases will be electric. And we are well on track to do so. Our EV fleet across Asia Pacific is now almost 1,000 vans on the road every day. You were at the launch of our EVs here in Singapore, which I'm extremely proud of. And we also have EVs deployed in markets like China, where almost 20% of our fleet is EVs on the ground. We have the same going on in Thailand, in Malaysia, in Korea, across Asia Pacific. But you see, reducing emissions is not just about electrification. I think it encompasses a lot more things. And we look at it in three simple themes, which is reduce, replace, and revolutionize. So when it comes to reducing emissions, it's the behavior that needs to be embedded across the entire organization, across the entire journey of a package, from the point a customer joins us to ship a package to when they receive the invoice. So automation end-to-end has been a big focus for us, a big priority for us, which basically takes away paper, right? So going paperless. Then it comes to, when I say our vision is to make supply chains smarter, smarter equals efficient, efficient and flexible equals more sustainable supply chains. And that also reflects in the solutions that we provide to our customers. Solutions like FedEx Surround, FedEx Ship Manager, FedEx Delivery Manager for e-commerce shipments, where customers can choose how and when they want their package to be delivered. Do they want to pick it up at a parcel locker, which is again a much more cost-effective and a sustainable, convenient solution for our customers. So that's just an example of how we have embedded sustainability both internally and externally. When it comes to revolutionizing, we are actually working with Yale Center for Natural Carbon Capture, which is doing research in carbon sequestration and we've committed $100 million to this initiative. And overall, we have set aside $2 billion to work towards achieving our ambition. And again, it's everyday small behaviors that matter. So another example that you're going to appreciate is we fly airplanes across the globe, connecting 220 countries and territories. But how much fuel we load on our planes is also an outcome of science. It's based on the weight, it's based on the wind conditions, and that is precision so that we make sure that we are being very mindful about our sustainability goals.
I see. Now, beyond decarbonization and electrification, sustainability, Kawal, what do you think are the longer-term trends that will support FedEx growth into the next decade, and how are you tapping these trends in APAC, any growth targets, so to speak?
That's a great question. So as we look towards the next decade, winning with technology and harnessing the growth we are seeing in both e-commerce and freight segments will fuel the growth of Asia Pacific. While we continue to deliver on our sustainability goals, right? So number one, e-commerce continues to reshape global trade. And as I mentioned earlier, with global e-commerce expected to surpass $7 trillion in the next few years, last mile delivery will become much of the cost driver for e-commerce. And this is where our efforts are to make sure we have the most cost-effective solutions for our e-commerce customers, both on the product side, which is FedEx International Connect Plus, as well as based on our digital solutions and the last mile options that our customers can choose from. The biggest driver of air parcel growth out of Asia Pacific is e-commerce. The second space is air freight segment represents a significant runway for growth for FedEx in verticals like healthcare, AI chips growth, semiconductors, and automotives. And lastly, digital transformation. This is where every industry is being revolutionized, and it starts and ends with the customer. It's not about technology for technology's sake. It's about the problems that we are solving for ourselves and for our customers. And it's really how the growth is being driven today. Like, we are moving from being a company that created a amazing, incredible network 50 years ago to being now digitally led, data first, democratizing this data that allows our employees, 30,000 employees across Asia Pacific, to make smart decisions every day. At the same time, providing the power of that data to our customers so that they can make real-time decisions every day to optimize their supply chains. And finally, sustainability, which we just touched on, that remains at the heart of our long-term strategy.
Well, lots going on for FedEx. But the quick one before we let you go, Kawal, what are some future plans for FedEx when we look at APAC or global level or even right here in Singapore for 2025 alone?
So 2025, I'm very focused on number one is continue to execute on our regional growth strategy, which truly provides our customers with unmatched value proposition enabled by smart digital solutions. And Asia Pacific is the manufacturing powerhouse for the world, where we will continue to unleash the power of our networks to unlock the region's potential. And number two is to execute on our enterprise-wide transformation strategy enabled by cutting-edge technology using the power of AI.
Wow, exciting days indeed. Thanks a lot, Kawal, for the insights. That was Kawal Preet, President, Asia Pacific at FedEx. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tian Tian. Pleasure to be here.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.